All right, what's going on, y'all? Hope everything's going great. I know it is. Been having a lot of great feedback about the program and the simplicity and elegance of it, and just a return back to the basics. And I absolutely love it. I love the way that I feel. I could stop like right now and just continue to do this protocol indefinitely. And I truly believe that things would continue to improve and shift, and the body would continue to adapt in a really positive way. So there's just something to be said about home cooked, freshly prepared foods, especially with the produce, and just learning some of these a little bit more advanced concepts and making sure that we're getting a little bit more of a broad spectrum of nutrients and trying to balance things to a large degree. So just loving this, and our meeting coming up this coming Saturday is going to be amazing because we're going to get into some glucometer testing, so some blood sugar testing. And through that, we're going to be able to learn about when throughout the day we're actually in this fat burning state, which, by the way, if your goal coming into this program is not necessarily like the fat loss piece of it, you can really think, in terms of like we're trying to nudge the body more in the direction of self-sufficiency. And if you have excess body fat, body composition changes to go through, then it's certainly going to help with that. But if you're at a relatively healthy weight, we're really just reinforcing this capacity for the body to have metabolic flexibility. That's what we want. Okay. So I think I had a couple people, say, well, I don't want to lose any more weight. I don't want to lean out anymore. So it's really not about leaning out necessarily. When we say fat loss, we know that this protocol really does help with people that have stubborn fat loss. But really what we're looking to do is just continue to nudge the body in this direction of what we call self-sufficiency. And by the way, that's a unique concept to us, because we don't call it fat burning. We think it's bigger and broader than that. There's a lot of things that play into it. And of course, we can go into a little bit more detail about that. But make sure that with the plant matter guidelines, you review your guide, and we have in there the Holy Grail of plant matter. We recommend not every single day necessarily, but in general, having like Bobar most days, some kind of greens most days. I'd recommend cycling through greens. I love to do the spinach spring mix box, pre-washed box. I'll go through that after 3 or 4 days. I'll switch to kale. I got some kale in my fridge right now. Then I'll switch to arugula at some point. So make sure that you're cycling through those things and that you're having fresh fruit as a dessert in the evening, even if you have just a little bit of fresh fruit. Had a couple questions. I think we've already addressed this. If I'm doing fruit, do I have to do the starches? I would just make sure that you're experimenting with that stuff. I think this week my goal is to have, instead of having like a cup and a half of fruit, which pretty much filled me up and I didn't feel like having any starches, I'm going to try to have like like a cup or less than one of those pint jars of fruit, and then same thing with the starches, just to see how I feel this week. So make sure that you're experimenting with those, because we do want to have them in the diet, and we are going to test for your glucose sensitivity and meal timing sensitivity. Oh, did I get sidetracked on that? Because I was talking about that a while ago. So this meeting is going to be exciting coming up, because we're going to test the body for previous day's foods to see how that impacts our fat burning throughout the day. Yeah, I did get sidetracked because I was talking about fat burning. We're going to test blood sugar to see how our previous day's eating is impacting today's blood sugar levels, and that's going to give us an idea how we can moderate our carbohydrates the day before and also our meal timing the day before. And then we're also going to do some fun testing around specific foods to see which things elevate our blood sugars. And with those two things, that's a really, really great way to fine-tune this way of eating. Like, we're already experiencing a lot of great results, already feeling great, but this is, I think, going to be just another level of game-changing. So, but anyway, make sure that you're getting that broad spectrum of nutrients. Make sure that you're experimenting with the starches and the fruits. And if it just feels like too much food, I'd say just pull back on the amounts and make sure that you're having them in there. Make sure that you're committing to 2 meals a day most days with no snacking. And that doesn't mean that if you end up one day having to have something that there's anything wrong with that. I just think that most of us as veterans should be focused on about 2 meals a day as a maximum. I always have a backup just in case, because there are a few days here and there that I do need to dip into something. But for the most part, 1 or 2 meals a day is my standard. And then make sure that you're scheduling that 1 24-hour fast every week. All right. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and do that today. Natural solutions for your home. This is just one topic that we need to focus on of all our different foundations, but I want to make a big plug for this. So I'm going to share a video, and it's our natural solutions video. We're big into essential oils, but not just the essential oils, also natural solutions for the home, which include things like vinegar and baking soda and glass bottles and and a bunch of other tips and pointers that we give out in this video. So, we got into the essential oils thing because they're plant-based alternatives to what would otherwise be toxic things like over-the-counter medications, home cleaning options, symptomatic support, and things like that. We're not big pushers for the essential oil business piece of it, so we recommend people have essential oils, but you also understand what other things do I need to revamp in my home, like dishwashing detergent, laundry detergent, and things like that. So this video is really, really important and crucial. I order, doTERRA essential oils probably once a month, once every couple of months, because I go through them a lot. I diffuse a lot in here. I also use them all over the place, at home and for laundry and anything and everything. But the point of it is to give yourself and your body this ability to have access to things that aren't otherwise toxic, like Glade candles and dishwashing detergents and all these different smell good things and things that we're exposed to and that we put on our skin. Like all this stuff has an impact, So if we're doing all this hard work to work on the food piece of it, then it just makes sense to start to take that to another level and understand all these different things that I'm in contact with on a daily basis have an impact too because they're toxic. Hold on, I think I might have timed out on my camera here. Hopefully not. Also, supplementation recommendations. So we always get questions about supplements. I'm going to share our strategic supplementation video. It's super solid. If we ever have any changes to that, we'll do a new recommendation. Got to make a big plug again for the MCT oil because we have a lot of people that are giving us some good feedback on the MCT oil in general as Superhumans United, but then also in this program. And then, if you're struggling with the morning process, I cannot emphasize how powerful and beneficial and profound this morning process is. Not just when you're doing it, because when you're doing it, there's nothing special about it. You're sitting in silence and you're playing this little game. But over the long term, the benefits that you experience from it are just like unbelievable. It feels like sometimes a lot of our foundations can be overwhelming because we're focused so much on food, and then to think, okay, well, I need to get outdoors, I need to spend time in the sun, operation lights out, grounding, priming, meditation. Well, if you knock all those things out at once in your morning session, you can get sun exposure and grounding. Like that's pretty much all of the stuff, right? You get your first meal spot on for the day, you spend some time outside, sitting somewhere where you can take your shoes off and you're grounded and ideally in the presence of that brightness of the sun. Remember, you don't have to be in the sun and sunbathing, but you need to be in the brightness. So if you have a spot that's outside and you're getting all those things at once, you're pretty much covering most of our foundations. So I'd like to make a big plug for knocking everything out at once, just sitting outside, grounding, being in the presence of the bright sunlight, and spending some time going through your personal process. The personal process, we have the priming and practice in the morning. We have some guided meditations. So I'll put some links out to that. And it's just like a voice of me walking you through our process. So maybe that'll be beneficial. And then I would also highly recommend programming yourself, brainwashing yourself for all the different things that we know that make you feel amazing. And so that's why we have that fridge rules for success and then also what needs to happen to lean out and feel amazing. So I would make a point today, if nothing else, read through those two documents and make a kind of like a little programming plug for yourself so that your unconscious mind absorbs that and you're kind of primed for that throughout the rest of the week. Ideally, maybe glancing over that in the mornings, And I think that's it. Let's get really excited about this meeting coming up. 11:30, we're going to kick it off. Make sure that you get here a little bit early to check in. I'm not sure where the room's going to be. It's going to be some mind-blowing information and some new information for all of us. And then just keep up the good work with the rest of the stuff, Stay 100% fresh and real, and let us know if you have any questions or comments or concerns, okay? Because we're here for you. All right, thank y'all.